So yeah, Pete, let's jump into Javian Mallory here. So running back prospect, 4-star player out of West Boca, committed to Miami since the spring. This is a guy who was extremely productive as a sophomore, got injured seriously, not like a torn ACL, but he got in a car crash. He's had a lot of injuries that he's fully bounced back from. Played through some injuries on the way to West Boca state title run. Really showed a lot of character and grit there. And then, of course, coming back from that car accident. So he was banged up. But I saw him at camp at Under Armour here, and he was outstanding. He actually won the MVP over Derek Cooper. They were both, side by side. And, you looked at it, you said, you want both of those guys right there. Cooper looks like the Predator, runs 4.4 and probably has 4.3 speed in him as he continues to develop. Javian Mallory, smooth, natural back, good size, just knows how to move, can catch the ball. Looks the part of a 3-down back with just rock solid ability. So if you're Miami, you want to land both. I think Miami's trending with Derek Cooper. Obviously, Mallory's committed. But following this visit from Alabama, he has set an official visit to Alabama. So that's something Miami's going to have to withstand. I've not heard, leading up to this, a lot of concern about Javian Mallory, right? As far as this is somebody that we're worried about wavering or we would drop or anything like that. That's not the case, at all. So I think this is a situation where you have a good player and a program like Alabama wants to, they got pretty good running backs in their mix. So if they come down to West Boca to get a running back, you got to feel pretty good about the player you're getting. And look, we've lost battles to Alabama. When you talk about Kevin Riley on their home turf, they're in Tuscaloosa. We've won battles. They were guys who liked Fletcher. They like Lyle. They like guys like that. I think Pringle, Alabama was in the mix for him as well. So, this is big boy recruiting. You want your commits to rise in value. You don't want your recruits to drop in value where you say, man, did we get the wrong guy? And here you see, by the way, this is Mallory playing injured, and you still see just a natural running back movements. I know we made the comparison, not in terms of quality, because this was one of the best players I've ever seen come out of high school ever, on top of being a Hall of Famer, but just in terms of the style of running, more your Frank Gore style runner, where he's not going to set a track meet on fire, although he's not slow, but he's definitely going to run with natural lean, quickness, true running back, and a similar kind of size, probably a similar speed on the stopwatch is my guess. So love this guy. I think this guy's been underrated as a low 4-star, maybe not by the services, but by the fans. But big-time schools want this kid. As he gets healthy this year, I think he's going to have a monster senior year, and he's going to be a very, very big piece of the class. Again, I'm not worried here. You never love when your commits take visits, but I think this is just part of recruiting great players. The Duke Johnson that just says, I'm not visiting anywhere, that's a rare bird from my experience.
Outside of, obviously, Cooper and then Mallory, who we've been talking about here, I know they've been recruiting, or they had earlier in the cycle, a bunch of other backs. I mean, is there anyone else to keep an eye on as a third back if you do get Cooper to hop on board here, or even kind of as another backup plan, so to speak, for Mallory if things go the other way?
Jay Lamar from Moultrie, Georgia, I believe is visiting. Let me just confirm. I believe he's visiting.
He's at FSU now, isn't he?
Yeah. So this is from Moultrie, Georgia, Colquitt County, top 10 running back in the country. I believe he's ranked number 8 on the composite. He visited unofficially. He's going to visit. He visited Clemson last week. Visit Georgia last week, I believe. Sorry, this. I'm looking at trying to see the visit list. It's all.
Yeah, he's at Florida State right now, or he just finished up his Florida State visit. He's from Nicara School, right?
Okay, here I got it here. Sorry, I was looking at a messed up list. So he visited Clemson. He visited Auburn the 16th. Visited Clemson the 30th. Visited Florida State last week. Visits Miami this week, and then Georgia, which is the favorite, on June 20th. He commits 5 days after that. So you're looking at basically some powerhouses in the region. There's a top 10 player in the country, Jay Lamar. With Miami, he visited unofficially in the spring, so you start there as far as the ties to this player. Always look at the unofficial visits when these out-of-state guys. That shows it real interest. Number 2, Colquitt County, not a big place, right? He has ties, family ties, friendship ties. He calls them his cousins. being Cuban, we have a million cousins. So I don't know if these are blood cousins or just people you call your cousins because you grew up with them. But he says he's cousins with Nye Carr. Says he's cousins with Kamal Bonner, the linebacker from NC State that just transferred to Miami this spring. So there's ties here with Jay Lamar, and Miami's been recruiting him. There was never any intention of pushing out a Mallory at all. But this is why you recruit a lot of players, because other players.
And we've talked about it. We talked about before there was a chance that they could take 3, like early in the cycle.
Yeah. I mean, looking, they're going to recruit and see where it goes. It's about getting players that are over the line of what you need, right? Guys, you want guys coming on campus that are of the caliber of player that you think you should be after. Now, Alabama's got their own guys. Xavier Kroll is top 5 back in the country out of Jackson, Alabama. You can see that being a major fit for the Crimson Tide. He visits there in a couple of weeks. Also visited Florida State and Auburn. So kind of a similar visit list for Xavier Kroll to Jay Lamar, but that's an Alabama target that you could see being in the mix. Savion Hyder, who to me is he's number 1 ranked running back, so it's not a secret there, but this guy's super elite. I don't know if he has an Alabama visit set. I know they were trying to recruit him. So it's Alabama. I mean, they're going to recruit a lot of running backs. They're going to take a lot of running backs. They're going to have a good pitch when it comes to running backs. But I think, Javian Mallory is their type of guy because of his size, because of his toughness, because of his just plug and play ability. Obviously, I know this goes back to a different coaching staff, but they've always loved South Florida players, between Calvin Ridley, Amari Cooper, you name it. So we'll see. I feel pretty good about where Miami's with Javian Mallory, and I think Miami would love to keep Javian Mallory. This is not like a drop situation or a cooling situation, at least as far as I know. If that changes, I'll let you know in the bank. But I've always heard Miami wanted this guy, and when I watch him in person and seeing his highlights and seeing his production and learning about the kid, I think he's a major priority, or should be, to be part of this class, to pair with a Derek Cooper.
Definitely. Now, listen, I mean, look, I think just with the nature of the position as well. Mark Fletcher, we'll see the sort of season he has. Obviously he's a certain type of back and he's had some injuries already. So if he has a really good year, he could be gone after this season. Obviously you expect Lyle to take that next step, but they need at least 2 in this class. Yeah,
I think so. Jared Pringle being a smaller type of back, Chris Wheatley Humphrey being a smaller type of back.